Okay, well, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. So, we're here, Lawrence.
He's on. Oh, right.
On? I forgot about being on. Lawrence, you out there? I think I don't think it's there. Harold Kenny here. Harold's over there. Sharon Robinson's here. Steve's here. Diane's not here yet. Where is she outside? And Dr. Lincoln's. Okay, start time for the meeting is officially 2:32. So our first item on the agenda is the review of Area Technology Center's update. And while I was asking the question, I know you guys are better than what that survey said back there. That's why I was asking the question. I always get an answer, and everybody else that I know gets an answer. So those survey, I just don't like them, just for record there, Sharon. My department doesn't come out.
And I will say that I did ask Karen for any specifics that she could give us, and she did. And so some of the numbers on the responses, they wouldn't answer maybe a certain question or this and that. And so it's really hard to determine. But, and sometimes, you get the news, it can be provided very politely, but it's not the news you want. So that's going to impact how that's going.
I was trying to get it what they want here. The Office of Legal Accountability too, 28%. It's because they don't like the answer. It wasn't because you didn't get the answer.
Right.
That's department response. Anyway, off the track. But Area Technology Update, KD Division Director Beth Engel, Office of Career and Technical will present the update.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Bo. Well, good afternoon, everybody. We're very excited, as always, to be here and give you an update on our 50 state-operated area technology centers. And please excuse me, I have some allergies going on. But during the 24-25 school year, the ATC successfully served more than 25,000 students from 130 of our local districts. And students that attended our state-operated ATCs earned more than 8,500 industry certifications last year. They had an overall 59% passage rate on the articulated inter-program assessments. We partnered with numerous post-secondary institutions to offer increasing CTE dual credit opportunities for the students. We provided vibrant learning experiences for every ATC student, encouraged innovation, and collaborated with our communities. And today we're just going to highlight some of those vibrant learning experiences from our ATCs. Next slide, please. I'm going to start with the Mason County Career Magnet School. So students at the Mason County Career Magnet School collaborated to assist a fellow student who had unfortunately gotten into a car accident, and it required that student to use a walker for several months. So students in the computerized machining and manufacturing class, they utilize their 3D printers, as you can see, to fashion or to design, create, and then fashion that drink holder to the student's walker, so that they could carry their water bottle to class while having to utilize that walker. It was very difficult for the student to be able to do that. Next slide, please. We had 3 students from Greenup County Area Technology Center that participated in the Glockner Dare to Dream pitch contest that was held at Shawnee State University. Now, this competition invited schools from West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky. It was a live presentation before a committee of judges. In preparation for the competition, our team here, Ava Doobie, Addie Irvin, and Sophia Strickland created a business model, designed and 3D printed their product, and then designed that commercial presentation and gave it at the competition. Their product or their business called Stick Stoppers. Their product was a bug catcher that lures and traps those wonderful stink bugs that we have in Kentucky and Asian beetles using light and pheromones. Their group won 3rd place at this competition. They won $5,000 each for their participation. It is huge. Of course, we're very super proud of these students and their business instructor. And next slide, please. And believe it or not, we also had the 1st and 2nd place winners in the same competition from Russell ATC. Their teams were Unbridled Creations. They took 1st place and $6,000 in cash. That team was Abby Fitz, Marley Coburn, and Ava Gabbard and Blakely Monty. They welded horseshoe wreaths and metal art sculptures to promote their Ashland and Russell area with the equestrian vibe and the coming new racetrack that they have there. And the second place team, also from Russell ATC, was Allison's Cheesecake. That team won $5,500 each. That team was Avery Dean, Carmen Corey, and Chloe Townsend. And they've been selling their delicious homemade beautiful cheesecakes. And their last drop of 25 Valentine's cheesecakes sold out within a matter of just 2 hours. And they encourage you to check them out on Facebook.
The students are.
I didn't have that information, but they just said that their last drop of their 25 Valentine's cheesecakes sold out in 2 hours. So I thought that was impressive.
Ben, could I just ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
You said that is the cash prizes for all of these, it wasn't for the team, each student? got
Each
that?
student.
Really? Okay, that's impressive. Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. I think it's very impressive. Next slide, please. So at the Meade County College and Career Center, the Ladies in Leadership event hosted with Nucor Steel Brandenburg focused on empowering and advancing women within the steel industry. This provided a platform for women to share their experiences, to overcome challenges like imposter syndrome, and to network with industry leaders. The event highlighted the contributions of women at Nucor and aimed to foster a more inclusive work environment. Through professional development and open discussions, participants explore strategies for career advancement and leadership growth within a traditionally male-dominated field, underscoring Nucor's commitment to diversity and the advancement of women in steel. Next slide, please. At Jackson County ATC, Mr. Wilder's wood manufacturing class, they get to participate in this wonderful community service project at the Jackson County High School gym renovation. This class is designing, constructing, and constructing the new lockers at the high school. It gave students the opportunity to showcase their design and their craftsmanship skills. They were building these from scratch and by hand. So all of these examples today just highlight the vibrant and successful learning experiences at our area technology centers. There are so many, but we just chose a few to share with you today. We're immensely proud of our students' achievements this school year. We're committed to providing even more opportunities in the upcoming school year. And together, we're all in for career and technical education in Kentucky. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have today.
So CT is the umbrella. The ATCs are under.
Correct.
So the CTEs that would include CTEs locally as well as ATCs.
Well, the Office of Career and Technical Education works with all career and technical education in Kentucky. Today, I was highlighting specifically the state-operated area technologies.
Okay.
Other question? Or
So are there ways that we can find out about some of these opportunities to actually see some of these programs in progress for ourselves?
We would love to have you out to any of our ATCs at any time.
So is this quarterly that you distribute the information? How do you get it out?
I collect this information monthly. That's a great question. And so we put out a newsletter from our office monthly where we highlight a lot of the activities going on in our ATCs and local district ATCs as well. I can also provide the board with any particular projects or all of the projects that we have going on at our ATC so that we can decide or, make time to go see any of them.
And I won't speak for the board, but just for myself, I'd like to see that.
I would love to have you there. So I will be happy to provide those for the board.
And I know you've always been really good, Ms. Wood, to get out there and, attend any events that are going on in our schools. But we've just recently hired, we're detailing him right now, a marketing person and he actually already worked in our office, but he's taken on some additional duties right now because so many things go on a daily basis and it changes, week to week. And so sometimes it's hard for us to figure out what's going on. So his name is Nathan Little. And so Nathan, again, is working with our newsletters and trying to get all of the information out. And you can subscribe to our newsletter. And so if you need that information, we can certainly get that to the board.
yeah, I'd send that out or have executive person send that out
Sure.
to all board members. So especially with the news, I mean, I'd like to sign up.
Absolutely.
I'm sure other people who's not on this committee would too.
Are you seeing any requests for additional occupations, career choices for females?
We're
Yeah.
seeing them for, well, I mean, for all students, we're getting, of course, numerous requests in from districts all the time to add additional programs. But I haven't really had any specifically for females, but for all programs, all skilled areas, there's just high demand for CT.
So if there's someone in that works with you to decide that this is where the dollars need to go, this would be the best interest.
Yeah, but that is a great question too. So we work, whenever we look at adding new programming or new programs at any of our centers, we do what's called a viability survey or viability study, new program viability study. And we will get data points from KY Stats. We will look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We will talk with local business and industry and workforce development leaders to identify the most needed areas or program areas in that particular region or area in Kentucky, because the demand can be different depending on where you are.
Exactly right.
And the WIBs just voted on their 5 top areas across the
Yes.
state everywhere. So some of that's based on the employment demand. But I think that's what, I was reading this, the ladies in leadership thing in steel industry on some newsletter that I saw, and I thought that was pretty cool because there's very few females leadership in that particular area. So that was really neat to read that article. So I think the person you're hiring and dual marketing would be great, especially with our new accountability coming up. To me, that's it, showing those, we talk about that, we listed in there, but it's hard to describe what vibrant learning is, but it's easy to see. Like the pictures there, of building the lock there, okay, and a practical project of this nature. And I'm glad to see the pendulum swing a little bit back to that, because I think in the 80s and 90s, we had a lot more of that. And then we had that post-secondary push for not post-secondary, but for college. And we bypassed the community technical colleges along the way. And I just think this is a great way to re-highlight. I know with
the nationwide too, I think.
yeah, well, in Northern Kentucky, an article was post-secondary from Ryan Quarles that that the community colleges were up 36,000 students or so forth. And to me, that's a lot in our career focus that we have going in post-secondary. But then we had this other person over there that was saying, well, post-secondary success has increased, but it's all about work. What's ultimately, it's the old age debate between philosophy and work, but that's a good thing for the businesses and the others that's looking at that 36,000 increase of degrees or something that I forget exact things, but that's what's vibrant is the kids getting involved in those activities and wanting to do post-secondary or the businesses within the workforce investment areas. I mean, that's what it's about. Secretary Lee, would you like to comment on that at all about the our post-secondary institutions increasing workforce development in the web districts?
Well, it's an ongoing conversation, of course, and it's something that I think is receiving more and more attention as we're looking at the 5 high demand sectors that are needed and working with multiple layers, working with Dr. Hargis and the team at Career and Technical Education, working with KCTCS on the various offerings they have, and then looking at the apprenticeship schools and working with them as well. So it's an ongoing premise that we're looking at, and we're also working with, I've been in contact with Southern Regional Education Board, talking about disconnected youth from ages 18 to 24 and how we can, obviously that's post-secondary, those ages, but how can we prevent youth from becoming disconnected before they graduate high school? And we're working with them to pursue perhaps a grant opportunity that we could partner with SREB as a pilot program in Kentucky to start working earlier than 18 years old to have those youth connected to a career plan and a career path. So I think there's great opportunity, especially in career and technical education. So that's something that's at the top of mind for us, as well as KCTCS and others.
Yeah, so do we, I know that like last night, I know Kent County had their graduations and they had, over 300, students, that either had their associate's degree or the equivalency of getting close. I know Boone counties were similar. In our data tracking system, and remember, it's 15 years since, or 10 years at least, since I've seen one of those. Are we tracking the students from CTC that also go on to the community technical college and get the advanced degree within their career pathway? I know we used to have completers 5 years later and that kind of
Yes.
stuff. So,
We still do. It's KY Stats collects that data for us. Now, I will say it's somewhat difficult to collect everything that you need because, you know, the schools are just trying to track them down, you know, where are they? And sometimes it's just word of mouth. So the accuracy of the data, we do the best that, you know, they do the best that they can do to collect that. But what we often see is that if they will complete that pathway while they're in secondary, so before they graduate, if they'll complete the pathway, then when they enter the workforce, they're going to be making more than a student who did not participate in all of the opportunities that are afforded to them. Any work-based learning, there's a lot of leadership that's provided through all of the career and student technical organizations or career and technical student organizations or CTSOs. And so when you can capture that student and get them early enough so that they can truly decide on a pathway and start progressing toward that completion, they're going to do so much better. Now, we still battle the stigma, is it college or career? And we know that in most cases, it's going to be both. And students, we've talked about this many times, Dr. Poe, they may not go to college directly out of high school. We don't consider that a failure, but they may go later, or they may, it just depends. And some of them may never go to college and they're going to end up making more than we are, just because. So I think our goal, and we've been talking about this within our office, is that, and I think we're getting buy-in to this. And it's just, as you said, at the national level, people are starting to pay attention to it more. There is no separation between academics and career education. It's one and the same. That it doesn't do a student any good just to know reading, writing, and math if you're not going to apply that to your work. So and I think we're coming around to that. We're getting rid of some of the old stigmas about factory work or anything like that, but still there's work to be done. And another thing that we are really focused on is career exploration. We have got to get that earlier. Obviously, we'd love to have it at the elementary level, and we have some of it, but it's got to be meaningful and it's got to be productive. So we are actually in a grant right now. We're collaborating with the Council on Post-Secondary Education. We're working with about 5 other states, and it's a very quick turnaround on the grant, but we're trying to develop best practices or guide for middle school career exploration. But, we've got to it's got to be across the state, and we've got to get buy-in. And we've got to have the students involved in their career exploration. And we think that's an important piece. And we feel like every bit of this aligns to Cool Council and all of the initiatives as far as, and we think that's going to, one of our huge problems right now in the state is absenteeism. And so we all believe if they're more engaged and if the students are more bought in, then we might have a way to reduce that. So
is there a way, and there's always a way, but are we looking at, my hypothesis is that if you're in CT, you're more engaged, you're more present and you're
Agreed.
there. So have we through our Infinite Campus or anything seen, or can we measure the success of that? Like if it's in the high or mid-90s versus 90% for the rest of the students?
I'm so glad that you asked that question because I was going to add, if I could add upon some of the things that Dr. Hargis had said. So when you look at
Informal group.
tracking that data through KY stats that she was talking about, and I just recently looked these up, and to talk about, disconnected youth and preventing that, it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
So when you look at students that have completed CTE programs in high school, they are employed at a 4% greater rate than those students who did not. So 6 to 7 years post-secondary graduation, and then from those who are employed, they earn 12% more in median wages than their counterparts who did not complete CTE programs while in high school. And we just looked at the absenteeism rate for the area technology centers for the past school year. It was 8%. 8 compared to what's Kentucky's average, 28% right now. So I don't know if that tells us anything specific, but I do believe it tells us that our students at our ATCs, and I only looked at our ATCs specifically, are engaged while they're at school. They are learning, they are completing their pathways, they're becoming concentrators, they're earning their industry credentials, and then they're going on being successful in their post-secondary transition. So I thought that was a significant number, though, that we are at 8% absenteeism rate for last school year.
Okay, so let me help that out. So if I get a question on that line of court, because I think it's very important. So you're saying, is it 8% is chronic absenteeism, or 8% from 100, which would be 92?
Well, it was an 8% of chronic
Absent,
absenteeism.
and then regular school for everybody is 28%.
Yes.
So it's significant.
It's significantly less.
How do you define chronic absenteeism?
That is a very good question.
I think it's more than 20, is it more than 20 absences?
It's like more than-
per school year? that you're absent 20? Yeah, well, no, I think chronic absenteeism is excused and unexcused. Because it's a total of missing so much school, whether you have a parent that does 10 days, I've had this debate with my daughter. If you take a trip, even though you get an excuse for a family trip or whatever, and you take 10 days out, they still miss school 10 days. I don't care what type of learning you want to do. They still miss school even though it's approved. That's the fact of life. They miss 20 in the early grades, 20 days of reading instruction is huge, whether it's excused or unexcused. And I think chronic absenteeism took into account total absenteeism, not the 9 days, which would be in our old days was the absenteeism that you went to court.
Your case.
Are you telling me that 28% of the students in Kentucky have chronic absenteeism? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, right.
And what did you find that?
It's the child is missing 10% or more of the enrolled academic year for any reason. So
That's 18.5 days.
And that may be down a little bit, since COVID.
It is. It's helpful, but that's why we have the academic gap that we're talking about.
Another trend that we're seeing with our ATCs, and I'm sure we are with our CTCs as well, I just don't have the data on that. We have a lot of students in local districts that are participating in virtual academies or virtual learning, but then they're coming part of the day in person to their career and tech ed classes. So
And that's what we found out.
I thought that was a very interesting trend.
Unfortunately, we do have to be back at 3:00, so that's going to give us a couple minutes.
You don't have to let me flummox, but I mean, didn't tell you. That's discouraging.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really discouraging.
I got to work on it. Go ahead.
Question, I apologize.
No, please.
Any of these ATCs have career technical exploration student career explanation programs at them in middle school, ones that being.
Yes, several of them partner with their local district middle schools, and they will do career exploration classes. They may do a 6 to 9 week rotation. They may take their students to the middle schools to showcase their CTE program that they're in, our CTSO officers. So we have many, many ways that we are engaging with our middle school students from the ATCs.
Has that increased?
It has increased enrollment in some of the ATCs. And CTCs throughout the state. So we have noticed a positive trend with that.
Secretary White has questions.
Yeah, Secretary Link, I'm sorry.
Just a very quick comment, and I know we're out of time and appreciate it. We'll be doing a presentation on Everybody Counts tomorrow, but I think on the broader scale, I think Dr. Hargis touched upon it, is that awareness of the opportunities at an early age of what the possibilities can be, and finding things that are of interest to students so that they're more engaged and they're more motivated perhaps to pursue whatever pathway they choose. But I think certainly with career and technical education, you've heard the numbers, the engagement rate is really significant.
Well, yeah, I agree. That's the reason why I didn't like the survey that there was more out survey. I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.